Hello, and welcome to the first Forgotten North Gaming podcast. You're with Scott
and Stan,
and hopefully this is just a first of many podcasts where we're going to just talk a little bit about Old World and some of the events that we attend. So last week, Stan and I attended a 2,000 point one-day event, 3 games held at Leodis Games, just outside Leeds. No comp, and I think it was attended by 30 players.
30 players in the end.
So what we'd like to do here is just chat a little bit about the overview, do a little bit of racial stereotyping, before we go on to talk about our lists, our games, the winning lists, and just our thoughts generally on lists and the event itself.
Yep, sounds good. So, like we said, there was 30 players there. There was 5 lists of Empire, a single Lizardman list, 2 Bretonnian lists, 3 Warriors of Chaos lists, 2 of which had the Dragon Lord.
The Dragon Lord.
3 Wood Elf lists. Again, 2 dragons coming along.
The list breakdown was a surprise for us, to be honest.
Yeah.
I was surprised at some of the list breakdown, the racial breakdowns.
4 High Elves, 2 of which had dragons. Then 2 Dark Elf lists, which both had dragons, but amounted to 3 dragons between the 2 lists.
Yes.
A single Tomb King list with a dragon. A Demons of Chaos list. 2 VC lists with 1 dragon. 2 Orcs and Goblins, 1 Skaven, 1 Ogre, 1 Dwarves, and 1 Beastmen list. So I think we hit
almost every list, I think. Oh, great.
I think what's missing.
No.
Chaos Dwarfs.
Chaos Dwarfs.
Chaos Dwarfs are the only one missing.
Only one not there. So it's impressive.
Yeah.
And a really good split for such an early event in the old world.
It was the lack of... There was no painting criteria at the event either.
No, and I think to get a lot of people into the scene and back into, I thought that was actually really quite...
I thought it was a good
thing. And there was lots of... Well, it was full 30 players there.
Yeah, there was a lot of people that were returning. Out of my... No spoilers, out of the 2 opponents that I didn't know that I played, one was a returning player who had been playing 9th Age.
Yeah, that army was stunning.
And then the other player was relatively new. He'd had 3 games before the event.
Well, I think out of the other players I played, one was someone that we know, and plays a lot of 8, but then the other guy I played was a returning player, hadn't played the game for a long time, and was just sort of... Old World had been the catalyst to get him back into the hobby. And chatting to several people during the day, sure you'll agree that lots of people were just getting back into it with this rebirth in the hobby.
Yeah, it's like we've had many discussions outside of this that, like, I think, we can't get too carried away. I know there's a lot of commentary online saying it's going to take over Age of Sigmar, it's going to be this, it's going to be that. But this is a Games Workshop product. We're in the foremost stage at the minute.
Yeah.
The health will be how many of those players are still kicking around in a year's time.
Totally agree. Yeah, totally agree. And hopefully most of them.
Yeah,
but we don't want to count any chickens before the match or anything along those lines.
Great seeing all this enthusiasm. But
yes. And it was such a nice day, as in people just really up for it.
Lovely venue. Never had every game I played except the Moody.
Moody
game 3.
Also, yeah.
Was played very... The spirit was there. Yeah. Played by intent. No one took offence if we said, "Can we just check that rule?"
I think a lot of people were there not for a quote unquote tournament, but to learn the rules and play the game.
Yeah.
And I thought it was played in a really, really nice manner. Like everyone was just pleasant, wanted to learn.
Yeah.
And errors were made in every game that I played. For the most part, I think.
Like I say, my game one especially, there was a lot of looking at the rules, and neither of us took offence at it and thought we'll just take 2 minutes to just double check that, so we're both
Well, we
content and happy with it.
I think we saw it when like no spoilers, we played one another, like addition bias.
Yes,
Like it's so easy because the rules are very, very similar,
but very different.
That you think you're playing it right, then you check it and it turns out categorically not.
Yeah.
So that was a big learning. I
Yeah,
thought, to be honest.
I think obviously it's off the bag. We played each other in game 3, and we had the byword of addition bias.
Yeah.
Everything we did was, are we saying that
Because we know it.
The rules are addition bias.
Yeah. I think I've taken that mindset I've had one game since, and same thing when we were playing. I played Andy yesterday. Everything we're remotely not sure about into that rule book. Just trying to be as relentless as we can to get those rules actually down pat, because it's so easy to fall into 8th edition mindset with the rules.
Even rules you're sure on. I'm just
No, you're right, 100%. Even things that we know, it's a challenge to make sure you get it right.
Like I said to you on the drive down, that I get a half-hour commute in the morning, and I take that to just read the core rules, read one chapter, and just read it. And
no, honestly, I'm essentially, that's all I said. I'm gonna copy you a little bit, because this is the time where you want to just be a bit of a rules nerd and get really stuck into it, so that you just know it for the future.
Yeah, and you can
without having to check it. It becomes that rote like you had in here.
And for everyone learning, you know where it is in the rule book. That you
yes, that's it. You can help others as well, not just become a rules lawyer.
But this is the rule, and it's on this page. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But it was a lovely event. The venue, first time I've been to the venue.
I would definitely be going back for a second time. I would said to the organisers that we can't attend their next one from a date clash, but we'll definitely attend another one. It's 2.5 hours down the road. Really nice little venue. Held in a really nice way. Like, thought the organisers were excellent.
Cracking lunch, bacon sandwich.
Solid lunch. Yeah, my sausage sandwich was excellent. Coffee available the whole day, which was lovely.
Not licensed, but alcohol-free beers available.
Nice range of sort of cold drinks. Actually, I would totally recommend the venue, and I'll definitely be going back for other events.
Definitely good range of stock as well.
Really good range of stock, like for a
small,
quote unquote small venue. I thought this. Well, you and I both mentioned at the time, the range was fantastic. Really good. Not just Games Workshop stuff, but like other gaming systems and whatnot as well. And the paint range was excellent.
Paint range was fantastic.
Paint range was very strong. So overall,
and I think it was at about 20% discount.
I believe it was around about that. It was
it would be 20%.
Very competitively priced. And some stuff that you really struggle to get elsewhere, we found, didn't we?
Yeah, they had a lot of sold out stuff on the shelves.
Yeah. But no, it was nicely spaced out as well. Like 30 people didn't feel really squashed in. The tables are nicely spaced out. There was enough space around you to be comfortable.
Good toilet facilities.
Just a really solid venue. Well run. And the organizer was nice and open as well. That he'd barely played the game yet.
Yeah.
So it was a learning curve for him. No. But I think there was not once that I saw that anyone sort of had to call the tea over or anything like that at all.
I think everyone just played it in the spirit that it was meant, and it was a thoroughly good day.
Yeah, really good day. Like I say, couldn't agree more.
Would love to go down for a 2-day.
Yeah, I would definitely attend a 2-day there. And what makes an incredible change for us is that it's relatively local.
It's relatively close.
It's only 2 hours away, which is as close as we roughly drive for events. So that was a real treat. So I think overall, really good day. And definitely go back.
Definitely.
So with that in mind, shall we chat through our lists?
Let's talk about
Let's talk about that. What was in our lists and how we thought they were going to play versus kind of how they did play. So,
I'll go
go
first.
to yourself.
So, I took my traditional Dark Elves.
Yep.
And I'm afraid to say, after all these years of playing 8th edition and Dragons being less than enjoyable on the table,
just like a shot off in one turn.
I jumped at the chance to take one.
Yeah, I don't think anyone. Truth be told, and I think this is sort of segue slightly, but I think this is the part of why everyone's suddenly like panicking about this whole dragon meta. I think a lot of it is just because people have got nice dragon models that they've barely been able to use in 8th because they were just points. They were just points for your opponent. Whereas at least now you can just use it and have fun with the dragon for a little while.
But I don't believe that though. There's in one of our practice games, the Lords took 4 cannons to the face off the board without doing.
And then it was your wizard that then did the heavy lifting to win the game.
And we'll get more into what my Dragon Lord achieved. But traditional Lord, full plate, shield, repeater handbow, Sea Dragon Cloak, give him a 2-up from shooting. Non-magical shooting.
Non-magic shooting, but I think it's a solid build. Keeps him alive.
The Ogre Blade and the Talisman of Protection. Every Lord pick one up.
Honestly, I think almost any combat lord is on a dragon has got the Talisman of Protection and the Ogre Blade. Like it's just
unless you can take a regen.
Unless you can take regen, but I think that's just an absolute no-brainer build for the most part. I mean, it should kick out a serious damage, and it makes them pretty survivable.
Yeah. Then we have the level 4 Sorceress with the Dark Elf Black Staff, which is a fantastic magic item. You roll an extra dice when you cast. And if you roll any of the 3 dice are double ones, it counts as a miscast. But it's reliable.
I think it makes your magic so reliable that it's just going to work for you.
Then
and what role was she on?
She was on Demonology. And she had the pendant, which is essentially the Bretonnian's Blessing on steroids. It's a 5-up against a 4-up, 5-up against a strength 4 attack, and a 4-up against a strength 5 or above attack.
It's just a better Blessing of the Lady, isn't it? That Bretonia.
Then core, we had 25 Spearmen with full command, and the banner, which gave their combat attacks -1 AP.
I think that's great.
Then the mandatory 2 units of 5 Dark Riders with all the gear and scouts.
Why wouldn't you?
17 Blackguard with full command.
I do like Blackguard in this edition. I think that size of the unit's solid as well.
A Charybdis, who...
Kenneth
the Charybdis.
He's my both favourite and least favourite monster that I've come across so far.
And 2 units of 5 Doomfire Warlocks with a champion.
Written off, I think, by a lot of people when things were first coming out, but I think actually not the outrageous powerhouse they were in 8th, but still a very reliable source of a magic missile.
They are very low. The basic thinking of the list was the Doomfire Warlocks are shooting out the summon them every turn. So 2d6, strength 4, AP 1.
Very strong. Range 18?
Range 18. And they're casting it on a 7 while they're at full strength with the champion.
Yeah.
So quite reliable. The Sorceress is buffing the Spearman.
And well, going from our practice game did such a very good job at it. It's amazing how much they dish out with that combo.
Either of the spells in demonology to either make them tougher or hit harder.
Yeah, I think it's it was surprising when how much they block a spam and then punch out with those buffs.
Yeah, it's and then obviously the Dragon Lord doing Dragon Lord thing.
Yeah.
And the Charybdis is an absolute.
He's a beast. He's a terrifying beast.
And especially with an aura of the -1 leadership.
I think with LD being such a big thing,
if you fight him in combat and you suffer the effects of terror, you're at -2 leadership.
Amazing. Like, it's just incredible.
But that was the list, and I had high hopes for it, but it didn't work as I anticipated it to work. Some of it was my poor play, and I learned a lot from the 3 games. But we'll come back to the point as the games.
Yeah. So my list, I took Empire of Man. Yeah. More Empire there than I was expecting. Anyway, my list, General by a level 4 wizard on elementalism with a lore familiar, so I can pick me spells because it's important in this list that I get the spells I need, and a talisman of protection, standard fare. He was accompanied by a Captain of the Empire BSB on foot, Charm Shield, full plate for a 3-up, and that 1-off 5-up. Burning Blade, just I had some sort of magic weapon, and the Ruby Ring of Ruin, because we love it. 2 Naked Engineers, 22 veteran state troops with spears, full command, and the Griffin standard, so double rank bonuses. So the idea is this unit sat with the BSB static combat res of +7 before any damage, which the list give or take relies on. 20 more veteran state troops, this time with halberds and shields, and then 6 little Empire archers. A little bit of a skirmish bunker for the wizard on occasion, but also just another chaff option. Then had a special 5 inner circle knights full command, 2 demigriffs with full plate, 2 units of 4 outriders, a cannon, a mortar, and then we'll go to rare, and I had a hellblaster and a steam tank. The idea of the list really was that it's quite counter-punchy. Couple of blocks of troops to hopefully sort of sit there, hold, let the war machines give or take do the damage alongside the wizard, and then a couple of units of heavy cav to do a bit of punch. So that was the idea of the list. Still not 100% sold on the Empire as yet in Old World, to be honest. I think they've got. I think they're one of those armies that you're going to need to do a lot of tweaking with, because they don't have the obvious power players of a lot of the other forces.
No, I would agree with you. It's from all our testing of them, they haven't got the raw that's really good that other armies have.
Yeah, and you're struggling to find something to fall in love with.
But I think once
there's
you
something
get
there,
that,
I think.
I don't think they're weak. I don't think they're poor.
No, they're just less obviously good.
I think it's one of those, what I like to call the wood elf issue. That you need the balance and mix of the army just right, and you need to have drilled it and played it.
No, you're totally right.
Get the maximum out of it.
Empire will prove to be a good force, but it is very much they are the sum of their part. It's the sum of their parts rather than individual parts that will prove to be successful for Empire. I just think they're going to need.
They're going to need someone
to play and someone to really want to work through how they build an army. And I mean, there's various different ways to play Empire for sure. Like all cav jumps out as a real option. But yeah, we'll see how they go.
You know, I've got a soft spot for the how many Empire heroes on Pegasus can you squeeze in?
Yes. And frankly, it's totally feasible. There's a lot. Yeah. I mean, if you had the models for it, there's a lot of pegs that you could put into an Empire army. give or take, where you've got these rules of three, etc. now starting to come in.
What happens with the
Exactly.
development of
the
pack.
see what GW release as well when it comes to the official kind of match play guide and stuff like that. That'll be really interesting to probably help move the meta along, I would imagine.
Obviously, we've seen for a future podcast, we are going to the Warhammer World
Tournament. We absolutely are. I'm very much already looking forward to it.
So we'll discuss their comp and the lists and everything we're thinking around.
Yeah, definitely.
Closer to the time. But how about our games?
Our games. So, what are you first?
I'll go first. I got Robbie in game one with his lizard men.
That army was
beautiful.
Oh my god, stunning,
absolutely stunning. A lot of it was the Deepkin.
Yeah, a lot of Deepkin converted. Like really lovely paint scheme. Like the guy,
bright, vibrant. It was
artist. It was
a lovely army.
Oh, it was really. Like I could barely pull myself away from it to go actually have my first game because it was so lovely to watch him unpacking, like looking at this force. Really unusual models in there as well.
Beautiful. Yeah, some beautiful models, and it's another way to say it, a monster mash.
As all good Lizard Men lists should be.
As I think
will prove very good.
So we had a Skink Chief on a Pterodon.
Yep.
Who we just used as a harassing unit and
cheap as well. Cheap, mobile, flexible.
A priest with battle magic, level 2, with Earthen Rod, the Talisman of Protection on an ancient Stegodon.
That's the one.
With the Engine of the Gods.
It's not the priest, it's the Steg and the Engine of the Gods. The priest's just there for the ride.
Your big frog.
The biggest of frogs, Old Slan himself.
BSB, General, Soul of Stone, level 4 wizard, high magic, low familiar, so it was pick any spell.
And I think high magic is incredible.
High magic was.
And I think, still wrong, for when the old world is set, I think high magic is rightfully the best law of magic overall, but it is an incredible law of magic.
I'm not sure it's the best law, because I think there is.
There's other laws which are in isolation better for certain things. I think as a general concept, high is very good.
It's got everything.
It's got some of everything for sure.
And then into his core, you had 3 jungle swarms, who swarms not unstable anymore.
Just unbreakable, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, little buggers.
They're a lot for
cheap as well, aren't they?
40 points.
Yeah.
A lot of wounds to just get
through. A lot of wounds. Are they poison?
Yeah, poison as well.
Little sods.
14 Saurus warriors.
Again, I quite like that as a size. Heavy they're heavy infantry as well, aren't they? So
I believe they are 2 10-man skink skirmishers with the javelins and shields.
Nice. My preferred setup for skinks as well.
2 Basilodons.
Both with Beam of Chotek?
But mixed them up there, mate. Arc of... is it Arc of Chotek?
Oh, whatever. Yeah. Either way, we've got the magic missile.
You've got the magic missile.
Yeah, and it is amazing.
5 chameleon skinks, and then an ancient stag with the other Engine of the Gods.
I just think Engine of the Gods as well is just... Again, it's so good. It's so good.
So... not going to detail about the games.
No, just a bit of a top line overview. So
at the end, it was 1578 against 1290, so a narrow loss.
Narrow loss.
My headlines were Dragon Lord took far too long to deal with the Sauruses.
Oh, was this not what his first game of whiffing and just generally not doing what he was supposed to do?
Yeah. But when he got free of the Sauruses, he was taken out a Basilodon a turn.
Yeah.
He's
with the Ogre Blade, he's a monster slayer, isn't he? Like, that D3 wound is enormous.
The hilarious one was the Spearmen were tagged in the rear by the Skink Chief on the Pterodon, lost the combat, broke, and ran down.
Oh my giddy aunt. Of course they did.
Of course.
Of course they did.
The other thing, back to high magic here, I played a big brain play and I managed to get the Dark Riders into the slan,
Nice.
who every turn,
Males of ethereal, I assume.
yeah, and over the course of 3 turns, knocked them off the board.
Oh, hideous.
1 by 1 every time because he was a base
BSB, just enough to just push them back, push them back, push them back.
push them back.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
That is brutal.
But the Basilodons, they took out the Cryptus.
That is it 3D3 strength 5?
Strength 5. Yeah.
Magic missile is amazing. That is just so good.
And this was the big weakness that I found about the Warlocks. You've got a 5-up ward save against no magical attacks.
Yeah. So anything magical, they just die to.
They just die.
They just die to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The theory of them is great, but if they've got anything that they can throw back at them, it's just pick them up.
Yeah.
But it was a great game. Really fun game, and it was a lovely army to play against.
Yeah, I can imagine the combo of bit of skirmish and then a lot of magic missiles coming at you was challenging. Magic missiles from monsters as well, though, so it's not like it's just little wizards bombing them out. Big, solid, monstrous creatures.
Just picking everything up.
Yeah, I mean, that was what? 2 Basilodons and the engine they got.
2 stags.
2 stags, that's 4 magic missiles from those, plus the slan.
Yeah.
Plus, if the Skin Priest happen to roll Fireball. That is a hailstorm of magic to wade through.
It was a lot of, especially when my Sorceress was taken out, and I was like, free game.
Yeah. Fate the spell is not going to do a lot.
No, it's only going to stop 1 at best.
At best. Yeah. But good game. Now
really good game, yeah. And this was the point I started questioning certain
things.
Was the Dragon Lord worth it? And
it's a lot of points of me.
And stop playing your Warlocks like you did in 8th edition.
Yeah. That is the challenge, though, isn't it? It's this bedding in period where you still almost think they're invincible, like they give or take were in 8th, and all of a sudden they get hit by a magic attack and poof, they're gone.
Yeah, unit picked up.
Ouch.
And how was your game one?
So my game one, I was playing Sam Toll, the least filthy of the tools, as he can rightfully proclaim.
Which, you know,
I mean, it's a low benchmark, to be fair. You guys know, when you guys are all dirty people.
Pick your favourite fascist, that.
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly what it is. But no, it is, he hadn't played many old world games himself, and he was playing his high elves. So his list was Prince, Full Plate, Shield, Seed of Rebirth, Dragon Helm, on a Star Dragon.
So you're 2 up, 5 up, 5 up.
Yeah. Yeah, and he didn't have the Ogre Blade.
No, because he had the Seed of Rebirth. He had everything else.
He was a tank rock, but then I mean the dragon does so much damage anyway. So
the work's going to be picked up by the dragon.
He also had a Archmage on a horse with the Blood of Caledor upgrade, which let him join Dragon
Prince.
That's the ones.
But also gives him free dragon armor.
Yes. Makes him a bit of a tank as well. I mean, he was a level 4 on High Magic, so High Magic was problematic for me, shall I say. He then had a BSB, also Blood of Caledor, into this block that we're going to get to shortly in rare. A couple of units of Reavers, 14 Archers, 2 Eagle Claw Bull Thralls, and then 10 Dragon Princes. So to be fair, he's on with a lot of good range support between the two bull thrust and
Did
the
he
two
have
lots of...
the Rampager standard on the
Yes, yes, he did.
Reroll
And charge. Now, to be honest, we made some fundamental errors in our game, and this is one of those things that I know is correct for all world, but during the course of the game, I just forgot.
You lost your head.
Lost my head and just dropped back into playing 8th. And what we forgot was his Archmage was dispelling all game whilst being in combat.
That's going to make his Archmage just a little bit more powerful.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. So I think it was a 13-7 win, if not a little bit bigger. I would have been on 20-0 scoring some 2 the high elves. I just couldn't do anything about a block of 10 Dragon Princes with an Archmage, with a Noble, that every turn was made ethereal, because I don't have any magical attacks. Other than a BSB with his little burning weapon. But if it hadn't have been for misplaying the Dispel, the game genuinely would have been quite different, because I would have blasted his prince off the board with Wind Blast, for example. Now, I still think the Hiles would have won, but it would have been a different game. But frankly, there was no... As bitter as I obviously sound now, there was no hard feelings.
Was he Dragon Princess 6x2?
Yes, 6x2.
Doesn't matter if they're charging.
Doesn't matter if they're charging. Yeah, because they're ethereal. I held them up quite a lot, and this is why he was stuck in combat, because he was in combat with with various different units, but also at one point with the steam tank, which he was ethereal, so I couldn't hit him, but he did bugger all to the steam tank.
If he slaps to a steam tank.
He was just sort of like slapping at this toughness 7 steam tank, was just laughing all about it. So yeah, we like that was some misplays definitely around the magic phase, which I think you just got to take on board. Sometimes it's easy to.
It's when you're in the heat of battle. You slip into your automatic reaction.
That's it. I slipped straight into just playing 8th with some old world rules instead of being relentless with myself.
How many times did you try 6-dice Sunblight?
Oh, bring back Spirit Leech. Still in the game, but it's not in the army I had. Good game though. Sam's army's a really nice high elf army as well. The green that he's got running through it as a theme is really lovely. I think he just painted up the Dragon Lord for the event, and he done a really good job on it. It was lovely. And Sam's always a good opponent, to be fair. He's always good to play, especially for a tool. But no, good game. It was a nice start to the event from a fun aspect. Annoyed at myself a little bit about making such fundamental rule errors. Definitely, but like it's what these early tournaments are about, is making sure you bed in good practices. Like this was just an example of poor rule playing. This we take on board.
This is just get rid of the 8th edition that's ingrained in our brains after 10 years.
Exactly that. It's exactly what that was. But tough start, and it did make us question Empire again.
Just out of curiosity, did the Dragon Princess or the Dragon do the heavy lifting?
The Dragon killed. He tanked a lot of damage with being a 2 armor save, 5 up, 5 up. He tanked a lot. So he was more of a tank than a damage dealer overall. I think most of the heavy lifting in our game probably came from the Dragon Princes, especially when they were ethereal, to be honest. So
it's just such a nice...
Oh, it's amazing. And that's why I thought high magic is just incredible. That drain magic as well, it makes your spells harder to cast. It is a beast of a magic law, and I really think it'll prove a big one in events as the year progresses.
Definitely, and I think the Dragon Princes do come with the rule I hate the most.
Impetuous. To be honest, because he had that walk between worlds, he moved up. He went first, moved up, then cast that spell so he got reserve move. So to be honest, by the time Impetuous made any difference, he was already across the board. I did sacrifice stuff to it. Don't get us wrong. Like the archers were thrown out, the outriders were fed to it, but I just couldn't do anything about it because it was ethereal. It just slowly ground things down rather than it being punchy. But good game. Definite errors made. Definite misplays.
But I think high elves are definitely
think
one
they're
to keep
good.
an eye on.
I think they're asleep. I want to call them sleeper. I think they're very good. And they've got tools for everything. There's me gut feel at this early stage.
Which I think is totally appropriate for high elves.
Oh, completely. Like, they should be the best magic army. Should be. Or give or take. I mean, if you include legacy armies, give or take with lizard men as the like that time in the world, they're the only real wizards. Everything else is just a hedge wizard per se. I mean, you could argue dark elves, admittedly, but blah blah. But definitely high elves. Good initiatives, good movement, good magic. Surprisingly good armor saves on a lot of their stuff. Access to dragons, good shooting. I think they'll.
I think it's a matter of time before we see Silver Helm core as well.
Yeah. Again, good core cav options. So yeah, definite to watch to see what the future holds for high elf lists and events.
Definitely. On to game 2. I had Curtis and his Empire. And full credit to him, the list had been written by one of his mates.
Oh,
He'd only played 3 games.
Fair dues.
So we spoke quite a lot about army composition and his lists, which will probably become quite obvious as we run through it. So he had a general of the Empire, full plate, pistol, auger blade, and great weapon. So whether I did ask him the direct question, was the great weapon there to satisfy OCD, so it came to 2,000 points exactly?
Yeah.
Then
Valid question.
a wizard law with the wizard's familiar, giving him +1 to dispel.
Yeah.
And he was on battle magic.
Our magic's solid. I think for Empire it's solid.
Then an engineer.
Yep.
And that was it on characters.
That is character light in this edition so far.
And no BSB with Empire, which...
And as an Empire player currently, I don't leave home without my BSB.
Then into his core, which he spent 700 points on.
That's a lot of core.
For Empire. So 22 state troops with spears.
Yep.
And that's ordinary state troops.
Oh, ordinary state troops, not a fan of.
22 state troops with spears, full command, and a detachment of 5 handgunners. Again, ordinary state troops.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, man, just what can man do against such reckless dragon usage?
Another 20 state troops with hand weapons and shields, and 5 handgunners.
Yeah. So several blocks of just.
And then a fourth 20 state troops with halberds, full command, and 5 handgunners.
Right.
And then finished off with 24 great swords with the razor standard.
For the extra armor beam.
Yes. A cannon, a steam tank, and a hellblaster. So
a lot of troops.
4
blocks of 20 humans.
And not the veteran state troops.
Yeah, a veteran's such a huge difference.
The game went, the first turn, my Dragon Lord flew up 20 inches and sat in front of the Hellblaster. I went, you're going to get one shot at us, take it.
You've been burned by a Hellblaster before, haven't you? So you're like, let's screw it. You have one turn and then you're going to die.
Demonology, I got the fly spell off on the Spearman. So they flew up 20 inches, 23 inches, and stood an inch away from a block of state troops. So
in a turn, you're aggressively across that board.
Yeah. The Charybdis went up, Dark Riders all piled onto one flank, and you can imagine how this game...
Yeah, I can see this probably snowballed very quickly. Not in the favour of the Empire.
It went very quickly. The Dragon Lord ate through the steam tank, the volley gun, the cannon, started going through the infantry, the Charybdis. The Black Knights yet again attracted the volley gun.
Yep.
And at the end of the game, there was just the champion running away, trying to keep the points.
Fair dues. That is fair dues.
Same with one unit of Doomfire Warlocks. The champion, end of the game, was just hightailing it out, going, preserve the points.
Save my points!
But at the end of the game, he had his great swords left.
How did the great swords perform?
They only got into combat once. Because he had so many units, he ended up blocking them in.
Down. Yeah. They're on my to-try list at some point in the future, but four armor saving great weapons, I think, are good.
They did get in against the Dragon Lord in the last turn, and did roll the 6 on the wound. So
really?
AP4.
Oh, spicy.
Ward saved that.
Nice. So your Dragon Lord this time really came to the party.
He came to the party. He took out a steam tank.
I mean,
and some
will kill steam tanks all of the time because of that Ogre Blade, and then just the inherent strength of the dragon. He will kill a steam tank quite easily.
But he didn't. He killed what you would expect him to kill.
That's true. I mean, he's a lot of points, so you expect him to do a lot of heavy lifting.
But he didn't do the heavy lifting.
Or did he not?
Well,
he did what he was supposed to do.
He would have earned his points back from the artillery and the steam tank.
Yeah. But didn't set your world on. Sounds like your Dragon Lord hasn't set your world on fire, to be fair, has he?
No.
Safe to say so far.
No, I think I prefer more stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
What about yours?
So my second game was against Joe and his Empire army. Another Empire army. There was 3 of us on the bottom 2 tables. We joked that at least now finally an Empire player would get a win. Which one of us did.
But the tables were random.
Yeah, they were random.
We were
just all together. We were just having a laugh about it in the bottom corner. Like, this is where they're sending the Empire players.
Trying to work out who the true Emperor is.
Yeah. So Joe's list was a bit of a different one. So you had a general of the Empire as well. Full plate shield, barded warhorse, Runefang. Which I must admit in this edition I'm not super sold on.
If you're going to drop that many points on a magic weapon, it's the Ogre Blade or the Fell Blade.
The issue is with the general of the Empire. He's only got 3 attacks.
Yeah.
That's the problem with him as well. So you had a captain of the Empire on foot with the Shroud of Iron, not a BSB. He had a priest with a charm shield, a level 2 mage on elementalism, and an engineer with pigeon bombs. Which would be cool, but spoiler, he forgot to use his pigeon bombs and then his engineer died. He had 20 Halberd veteran state troops with the banner of duty for that extra +1 combat res, which I don't think is a bad setup.
Not a bad.
15 state troops, which is hand weapons and shields. 10 missile state troops and the handguns, and the champion had a Hockland long rifle, which I think's cool. And they had 12 Empire Knights, not in a circle, just a huge block
ordinary core
human knights. But obviously, because they're not in a circle, you only have heavy armor, not full plate.
Yes, they're on the 3 up.
So they're at 3 up. You then had 5 outriders, a cannon, and the big one, which is very different, 23 flagellants. And then a Hellstrom rocket battery. Hats off. Hellstrom rocket battery. 125 points of something.
Of
something that isn't a hell blaster. Costs more. Comes up the same area. And did, I think, collectively, sweet bugger all. It looks really good on paper. It just does nothing.
There's someone at GW that just hates it.
Someone at GW sat there going, it doesn't matter what edition it is, the Hellstorm will be garbage.
Every edition, you get winners and losers.
And it's always the Hellstorm.
And it's, sometimes, every unit has its time in its sun, apart from the ginger stepchild that's locked in the basement.
Yeah. So, I mean, game started well for him. His cannon opened up. He went first. His cannon killed my Hellblast at turn 1, which was not a good start.
Sad stop face.
It was a very sad Scott face. Like, Scott was not a happy bunny to the point where he has to refer to himself in the third person, but Scott was a sad Scott. That said, it didn't stay that way for long because, truth be told, that was the best bit of the game for Joe. It went drastically downhill from there.
Your army really loved that Hellblaster.
It really loved the Hellblaster. It's my favorite thing in the army. So they sought revenge. It was a brutal affair. I think I lost another unit. I lost a unit of Outriders. I think I lost an engineer and the Hellblaster, and I killed everything on Joe's side of the army, barring his general. 5 inner circle knights charged the 12 regular knights and beat them in combat. And then with the help of the Demis, ran them down and killed them. So that was big. And it shows like 12 regular knights are not the match of 5 inner circle knights. And the biggest difference, the pip of armor and the pip of initiative.
It's a charge.
And well, both charged.
Counter
charge kicked in, which is really cool. But even with that, inner circle knight first.
You had reroll ones?
Our reroll failed to hit, I think it is, whatever it is.
Ones.
Yeah. Whatever it is on there made a difference.
Just butchered them.
The thing that really performed again was the mortar. It dropping into a unit of flagellants, and when you roll a hit, you pretty much hit almost everything. And then they've got a 6-sub save, but you give or take killing on 5s, and it's so many. The mortar was probably the man of the match. Steam Tank did very well in this game. Keeps doing enough every now and then in the game just to keep it in my lists, because I'm still not sure 265 points.
The Steam Tank for me is, when we've discussed this, it is the same thing. It's the same price as Dragon. Do you get that value from it? But would you be able to replace it with something that could be as tanky? No pun intended.
Yeah, no, honestly, in the Empire list, that is the problem, because the Steam Tank is a mobile cannon for the threat. It's a 3 armor save 10 wound, toughness 7. Like something that, unless your opponent's got a Dragon Lord with
or
a blade, or a Charybdis, or you're a Beastman player and you happen to have Vile Tide, which also is not cool, I found out. It does. It's something that your opponent has to deal with, and there's not a lot in your Empire list that your opponent looks at and like, ooh, I've got to deal with that, because the Empire are very. It's very more about the synergy, and the sum of its parts. But it was a very strong game for me. That one, that was a 20-0, I think it was, on the scoring. Joe was a real delight to play against. We had a genuinely good time playing the game. He's a really good guy. And he said afterwards he wrote the list and submitted it really early before he'd fully digested all the rules. He said, obviously, with hindsight, the list he would bring next time would be totally different. And frankly, I hope we play again at another event, because he was a good guy. Really enjoyed playing him.
Yeah. So before we go into the last game and relive that trauma,
Yeah.
I mean, a few things. BSBs. There's a lot of lists.
He's not taking them.
Not taking them. I didn't take one.
I think, well, one definitely not as valuable as they were in 8th by any stretch. I do think, though, for some armies, they're still, for me, in order, they should be there.
I think your Empire, your Brett's getting one for free. You're going to take a part. Yeah.
I would definitely not leave home without one on the Empire.
But your Elves, your Dwarves.
I think because people have got access to Veteran as well, like, it gives you a pseudo BSB.
Yeah. Doesn't on the break test.
No.
But break tests aren't as brutal.
No, they're not. Yeah, I think you see. I mean, God, we've just went through armies there, and only 2 of the 4 of them had a BSB.
Yeah.
I think, and then to be honest, I was chatting to Sam about his list afterwards. The high elves, I'd drop the BSB out of that, and I'd put in a second mage or something else, because I just don't think a BSB is necessary in a block of Dragon Princes,
in that block,
for example.
But on your Empire troops, that +1 can often lose by.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Well, I mean, obviously my build and my Empire list is certainly not ideal and is still a work in progress. But I think a block of veteran spearmen with that Griffin banner and the BSB, that combat res of 7 before anything else is big.
Yeah.
And because he's the Empire, full plate's easily available. Like, you can already get a 3-up armor save without any real work.
Well, that like we were discussing, that block, the champion challenges out the Dragon Lord. The Dragon Lord is on a 6, and you're on a 7.
That's it. Yeah, you win in combat against the Dragon Lord on that turn with his overkill. Admittedly by 1.
One's all you need.
One's all you need. Or it's a one-trick pony with your champion.
But it holds it up for that turn where you can
try to then get something else to bear.
Demis or knights on the side.
But yeah, it was interesting the lack of BSBs. And as I was looking around, I think a lot of other forces went without the BSB. It was interesting. Few BSBs, lots of dragons. Will be a relative top line summary for some of the trends.
I value veteran over BSB. If you've got access to a lot of veteran,
I agree. I think veteran for quite a cheap upgrade normally.
For 1 or 2 points,
I think it's amazing. Like the reroll any leadership test, not a break test, but any other leadership test, free reroll is amazing. So good.
It's especially when if you can combine it with other abilities that key off a leadership test.
Yeah, definitely. I think psychology is going to be big.
Yes.
Using psychology is going to be big. And I think having anything that allows you, again, not to do this, anything that allows you to reroll or fails, or anything that forces your opponent to reroll successes is going to be big in whichever way you look at it. So I think veteran is a really, really strong ability.
I think it's definitely, future hint here for a podcast, it is definitely in my top 3 universal special rules.
I think there's some really interesting universal special rules in this edition, but I think veteran has to be one of the best.
Definitely top 3.
Yeah.
It's when you see it available,
take it.
I don't even consider it.
Just don't question it. Just pay the upgrade, because whatever that is, if it's 1 point or 2 points, it's worth it. It's so good. So good.
Right, let's talk about
Game 3.
Well,
I mean, let's be honest. I'm going to go out there straight away and admit that I was just a bit salty after 2 turns, wasn't I? Like, my dice were awful. I'd misplayed a few things, and I had to apologise afterwards because I was just in a bit of a shitty mood. I was tired, but it's either way. I still shouldn't have been a bit whingy, which I was by that point in the day.
At that point, you played. Yes, you were whingy. You had some terrible dice, and you wouldn't have been like that with anyone else.
No,
I think it was because it was me.
It was because it was you and I, and like we play a lot.
Yeah.
So
I know how to take it.
Yes, I wouldn't have been whingy to anyone. You're right, I wouldn't have been that whingy, but it still wasn't fair to you that I was whingy at you either, though, which I sort of did.
No, what wasn't fair to me is what happened in turn 3 and 4.
Yeah. Turn 2 was very dark elf friendly.
Yes.
Turn 1 and 2 was very dark elf friendly. Empire couldn't do bugger all.
Steam Tank got punked.
Steam Tank charged into the Dragon Lord.
Yep. With the Inner Circle
Knights. What happened to everything in that combat was
I took two or three wounds,
then proceeded to slap the living crap out of the Steam Tank.
Killed the Knights first, then the Steam Tank.
Yes, he killed the Knights first, then slapped the crap out of the Steam Tank. And Dragon Lord was doing some lifting at this point.
Yeah.
First half of the game, Dragon Lord was doing some serious
First 2 turns, took out probably 80 points back.
There or thereabouts, yeah. I mean, 270-ish for the Steam Tank and 100. Yeah. Over 400 points just in that one combat.
Yeah. So,
which is big.
But he's 500 points.
Yeah. But at that point, looking really good.
Yeah. Confidence was high.
What was cooking on gas, other than the only thing that was going well, was Mr. Reliable Hellblaster. and Mr. Reliable Mortar.
Yes.
Everything else,
The mortar and the Hellblaster would reduce the Blackguard down to
like 1 rank or something like that.
Yeah,
That
there
was
was-
brutal.
7 or 8 of them left.
I mean, obviously, I had to throw as much as I could at Kenneth the Charybdis because he's
Yeah.
tortured my dreams.
You also took out the Cryptus,
Yeah.
but they were the highlights.
Yeah, because after that, I mean, your Spearman block on right in me grill.
The
The
Spearman,
Dragon Lord was in the lines.
the Spearman block went into some state troops with some Dark Riders in the flank for support.
Yeah.
The Spearman had +1 attack, +1 initiative, +1 armor
AP.
Pearson, strength. They
Yeah.
had
They had the
everything.
whole shebang. Everything, all the demo buffs were on them, and they had support by the Dark Riders.
Yeah.
And how many Spearmen did they kill?
2.
2. Now, hats off.
And combined with the Dark Riders.
Hats off to Earthen Ramparts, which has got to be on that unit my favourite spell.
Yeah.
5 ward save. I mean, I didn't have to make many because your dice were horrific.
I think you hit the bang on average. You made 1
Yeah.
board.
Because you killed 2. My guys then proceeded to kill several of yours.
Yep, quite a few. And the Dark Riders.
Yep. And break both of your blocks. This is with your level 4 mage in.
Break both blocks.
Both blocks and chase down your Spearman and your level 4.
Yes.
This one saw what it went horribly wrong at this stage.
The wheels started wobbling.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Lord went into the other block of infantry.
Yeah. He killed us first, didn't he?
He killed the Hellblaster.
Killed the Hellblaster, and then he ended up in the same block, though, wasn't it? It was
Yeah.
the same block of troops he ended up in to get revenge for the wizard.
And the BSB rightly challenged him.
BSB challenged him out, and you had 4 attacks at the BSB.
4 attacks with the Lord, 6 with the Dragon,
and stomps.
and then 1 stomp.
And how many wounds did you do to my BSB?
1.
1 wound, Lisa. That's a Dragon Lord. So obviously, because I have a static combat res of 7, that was a both because it was a win by 5.
Yeah.
I drastically outnumbered you, so it was a real panic, a real break test.
Yep, and I ran.
I didn't catch him. However, did you rally next turn?
I didn't get another
Oh
turn
no, it was
because
my turn
your
next.
turn.
And then
Your-
my demis charged him, needed a big charge, forced him to flee.
But the way the angle was, if I'd rolled an 8 with Swift Stride, I would have bounced through
Your
your
Dark yeah.
state troops.
And then your Dark Rider, not Dark Rider, Warlocks.
Yeah, and I would have
bounce
been,
off the board, wouldn't you?
No, I would have been free with an 8.
Oh, that's right, yes. Sorry.
8 would have put us between the
Yes.
Warlocks and your state troops,
Yeah.
denying the Demi-Griffs the chance to catch them.
Yeah.
A 10 or more would have put us off the board.
You had a window that you needed to get into, didn't
Yeah.
you?
And I rolled a 6.
Yeah.
So-
And court said,
I stopped in front of your state troops.
yeah. Well, the demis just sort of like ran
Right.
straight up the bum.
Yeah.
So what started as a really solid start of the game for Dark Elves ended as a
bit of a massacre.
I mean, I can't remember what the scoring was, but it was a relative massacre.
You took everything.
I took everything, but I did lose a chunk from the start as well.
Yeah, but you still had it.
But I still had a lot of. I had both my troops left.
Your
the
general,
mortar,
your BSB, the mortar.
Which had survived combat against some Dark Riders earlier on when you'd whiffed the previous time. Yeah, your dice were not good. Like, in reality, I didn't win. Your dice lost.
Yeah, my dice.
Yeah, I think
But-
today's game. As much as I was,
The Dragon Lord for 500,
Oh.
500 points.
he's got to do a lot of lifting.
He's got to do a lot, and you can. I don't care how good he is. You
One-
get that turn.
One turn, you proved it there. One turn where you whiff your dice, you get beat off troops.
Yep, and it's not only the 500 points for him; it's 100 points for the general.
Yeah, he's a 600-point swing, isn't he? Really,
He's a
he's a massive chunk of points.
and it takes a lot of just stuff away.
Yeah.
I think
jury's still very much out on how long-term Dragon Lords are going to be, isn't it? I think.
I think there's a lot of
I think
people
some
are very
armies,
excited by them, and I think they've got the place, and I
For
think
sure.
they can be used well. But you are, especially in a 2-day event, you are going to get that game where they achieve nothing.
Mm.
And, we'll talk about it in the future, but illusion magic, you could make a Dragon Lord a 500-point paperweight.
100%. Yeah. And I think there's other individual armies have very specific counters to them as well.
Yeah.
Which again we'll come on to talk about another time, so didn't apply to this event. But I definitely think we saw a lot of dragons.
We saw,
and I think early games and early events,
it was about 50%
Of
of the
dragons.
lists that could take dragon
had them.
took them.
Yeah. And in some of the lists, they've obviously done very well. But overall, I definitely think there's a place for them,
I think the
for sure. For like
the
undoubtedly.
valid and
But I don't think they're not the game-breaking thing that people have spoken about already. Like there was 30 players there. We had obviously good games. Spoke to everyone that was there. There was no Dragon Lords didn't single-handedly win any games.
oh,
There was,
to sum it up, the Lizard Men won.
yeah, Lizard Man won. Wood Elves came second. Very heavy shooty list with a dragon,
Yep, and then
and then it was the
Demons.
OG Cool. Stephen came in third with
Third.
his Warriors of Chaos and
With
his Dragon Lord.
Yeah, with his frenzy army.
With his crazy army led by an unkillable Dragon Lord.
Yes.
So all two of the top three had dragons, but with the exception of, do we say none of them single-handedly won any of their games by the chatting, and Steve was
No.
very surprised with how well his Forsaken did.
I think we're in a very much a rulebook scenario, which are very simple.
Yeah,
There is the big section of the rulebook about special features and holding special features.
Yeah, because everything was just on kill points essentially.
Yeah.
Like you will get dragons performing well. I think that Lizard Man list that actually won it that you played first, with the volume of magic missiles it can and monsters, is a beast of a list.
But again, you're playing a five game tournament, and 2 missions involve holding a special feature.
Nothing. Got nothing to hold them really. You only got one
Unisaurus
Unisaurus.
and then 15 Saurus.
Oh no, I think, and that's what when we talk about it. This is a very early meta that's
Very early.
evolving. I think the list that you see now will be drastically different to the lists you see in a year's time.
We don't
And I
know
hope that,
what's-
frankly,
we don't know what's coming down
who
the pipeline.
knows? What? No one knows what's in the next FAQ. Are some of the broken things now going to be addressed by GW? I don't know.
I don't think anything's broken.
Sorry, I don't mean broken, because you're right. I agree with you. I don't think there is anything fundamentally broken in the game at the moment. I think it's early though. That's why.
I think there's a lot of noise about things at the minute. Linehammer, dragons, level 4s being mandatory.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of noise about it. The level 4 debate is the only one
For me, I kind of feel, now this is army dependent. I either think you go level 4 or you go no wizard. I think you can pull off no wizard in the right army.
In the right army.
For sure. And I think this is one for another time. Because I know
Definitely.
But I think definitely having a chat about what are the must takes, what are the standouts.
I think again, all game 1 and 3 were both very swingy.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard a lot of people saying once you get your nose ahead,
Yeah,
that's it.
Yes, I've heard that as well, but we've played lots of games now against different opponents, and our game was ridiculously swingy. I just had a game last night which was crazy swingy. Admittedly, my game 2 wasn't very swingy once I got on top
my
and managed to
game two
maintain it.
was
But game 1, certainly against Sam, at one point, was very dominated by the high elves. Now, it didn't finish that way, but if we played a rule correctly, it might have swung. So I don't think it's this on
It's not
top,
this
you stay on top. That people-
binary.
no, it's absolutely not. Like, I actually think it's no more or less swingy than previous editions. I think sometimes you're on top, and if you can keep on top, you can pound your opponent.
I think I can see there is an argument because combats don't break. You don't get your victory points in massive.
Yeah. Everything
Jumps
does a bit
now.
less damage now,
Yeah.
give or take.
And everything takes longer
Yeah.
to do. But I think one of the skills, and I think it's come from playing, dare I say, 40k, is especially in my game 2, my head came into preserve points. I had units with one person left,
Yeah.
and was get them out of dodge
Yeah.
to preserve.
Yeah. Get the hell out of here.
Even 25% points could swing the game.
Yeah. No, I think that's totally valid.
You know,
totally valid.
it's yes, it was a factor in 8, but generally everyone's smaller units.
Yeah. I think the meta and like this whole concept of what's good, what's not, and what's up
It's too early.
too early to tell. Way too early to make that call about what is quote unquote essential, what is the best, and what's broken.
What I did say, what I did notice is your battlefield and your terrain is massive.
Agreed.
I,
Terrain is huge in this edition.
I was lucky I played on all the tables. Probably not as much our game, but table 1 where I played twice. It had 2 rivers. It had a
That
big
table's
tower.
really cool setup, actually, to be fair.
It was massive in the games.
Yeah.
And it did change the games in a positive way.
Yeah. No, I think in all worlds so far, terrain matters far more in this than it ever did in it.
Yeah.
For me, so far. I think that's a fair thing to say.
Like, our table 1 had 2 rivers, 2 woods, and a tower in. And because there wasn't a mission pack or every game we diced off and said 1, 2, 3, both rivers are dangerous. 4, 5, 6, the difficult, and the same with the woods.
Yeah.
So and the lower averages played out every game we had
Something.
2 pieces of difficult
and 2
pieces of dangerous.
I think this whole the variance between difficult and dangerous is a big one.
Massive.
Think impassable and Borisset sector being infinitely high is really, really big. And something I totally agree with as well. To be honest.
Reducing charges.
It's a much more. I don't want to sound bad against it. I don't mean it, but it's a very tactically astute game, as Warhammer always is. It's just a different form of tactically astute than what 8 was. A bit more reminiscent of 6th in some ways. In the current meta or the current early meta of Dragonlord, it's reminiscent of a bit of historical Hero Hammer, but you can't point and click a lord at an army and win.
No,
you can't. That's not going to work for you.
No,
so
everything's. I hate the phrase rock paper scissors, but everything does have counters, not hard counters,
but there's counters.
Nothing so far is unkillable.
No, I would.
But I think the battlefield is a big factor. You know me, I love it.
You love a scenario. I love special mission.
I love a lot of terrain on the board. I like it to look.
You want the immersion. You want your battlefield to feel as
not Planet Bowling Ball.
Yeah, nobody wants to play on an open scenery, but what is it? Is it 6 pieces of the recommended amount?
5 to 6.
5 to 6 pieces, I think.
Of reasonable size.
Varied, mixed scenery.
Yeah.
And I think that's an important
You want it to play a part in the game, but not be the game.
Yeah, you're not playing scenery hammer.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if it doesn't impact the game, then you might as well play on a bowling green, and nobody wants that either. So my early feeling with scenery is that it's good. We one criticism that I missed the variety of forests, and I'd never thought I would say that, but I do.
You can house rule.
Of course, you can house rule anything you want. But no, I think scenery is big, and I definitely enjoyed to sort of circle back to this event. Really enjoyable.
Really enjoyed it.
The winners were good lists, and they played their list really well.
Very good list.
Stephen, who's just filth.
Some of the hobby on display.
Some of them more like I know we said it earlier. That Lizard Man list was house.
There was other lists.
There was some really lovely ones.
Blown off the water by that.
Yeah. The issue is that one was so stunning and so different that it put all the other really quite nice lists to shame.
Yeah, it was absolutely.
But
if anything, that would be my one criticism. There wasn't an acknowledgement.
Yeah.
Of,
and I think because it was early on and because they were encouraging people to just come and play, and there was no painting standards. Yeah, there was no sort of painting standard requirement or anything like that. Then that's maybe why they shied away from some sort of paint on the wall. But I mean, as someone who's a terrible painter, it's not my strength in this.
I'm the same.
I just enjoy painting.
It takes me a long time to get very average results.
It takes me. Yeah, I don't paint for enjoyment, although I've enjoyed it more than I used to. Like, I'm a very, very, very mediocre at best painter. But as a hobbyist, I really enjoy seeing the amazing paint armies rewarded for it.
Definitely.
So I do think, yeah. And I don't really want to play against armies that are lovely. Like, I wish I could give that to my opponent, but I can't. But I at least provide a painted army.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Like.
But no,
I want to see those rewarded.
It was a beautiful event for anyone
really
that's interested. They are running an event.
Another one. It's the weekend we're in.
Derby, 7th of May.
So,
at the top of my head.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Let me just get into my calendar here. Definitely pre-prepared. 4th of May.
4th of May.
So we are there. We'll be at Derby Deathmatch held by Triple Crown, which we are very much looking forward to. Always a great event by those guys.
Yeah, unfortunately, that one is sold out now.
That one is sold out. But if you are looking to attend an event at the start of May, Leodis Games is hosting another one-day event on the 4th. They are reducing the points because they want to try a few things out.
Yeah,
so I think they're going to 1750.
It's 1750, I think.
Yeah, I think. But either way, if you're looking for an event to attend, I would definitely recommend going to Leodis. Really nice guys. Organizer was a nice guy. Really pleasant.
And of course,
the venue was good.
Would be wrong to say that Triple Crown are also running their GT at the end of July.
End of July, and 20th and 21st of July down in Essex. If anyone who's listening to this hasn't got a ticket, I think there is tickets available.
2-day event.
And like the Triple Crown guys have never put an event on that I haven't rated as fantastic. So,
and then there's the Big Boy R event.
Yes, of course. Anyone listening to this, if you're looking for an event later in the year, then look no further than Forgotten North Gaming on the 12th and 13th of October. We'll be hosting a GT in Newcastle upon Tyne in the north, where you can all join us and freeze your southern socks off.
Currently we've got packages available where you can book a room in the hotel on the Friday and Saturday night at a discounted rate, have a meal in the hotel on the Saturday night, so you can turn up Friday night and not have to see outside till Sunday night.
And deep down, we all want that. Show up, game for 2 days, drink some beers, have a good laugh, go home 2 days later, unsure what's happening in the world outside. Has there been a zombie apocalypse? Who knows? Hopefully there'll be a link in the description underneath. We'll see.
If not, it'll be somewhere.
It'll be somewhere. But thank you very much for joining us on our first ever podcast. Hopefully
Like,
the first of many.
share, and follow.
Like,
and all
share,
that.
follow, all that other jazz that social media allows. And we'll see you again. Take care. Thank you.
Good night. Bye.